First News with Keeler in the morning on WIBX and WIBX950.com.
Hey guys, time to get in on the action for the biggest moments in basketball with Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app. Just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projections, place your entry, and win up to 100 times your money. Right now, Prize Picks will match your first deposit of up to $100. Just download the Prize Picks app and use the code GET100. That's code GET100 on Prize Picks for a first deposit match of up to $100. Prize Picks. Pick more. Pick less. It's that easy.
It's a fire department issue in Ilion right now, and there's an investigation. There's been a change of leadership there. There's controversy. It's been quite interesting. David Murray was a village trustee from 2006 to 2007, also on what they call the MUB board under 3 administrations. Also was the chairman of the MUB board. And says that he is simply a concerned citizen that is extremely concerned about what's going on currently in the village. And Dave is on the line right now. David, good morning.
Good morning, Bill. How are you?
Good. All right. So, in a nutshell, in your opinion, what's going on in the village? You clearly are no fan of the current mayor and the deputy mayor.
Well, Bill, my purpose of getting on today is basically I wanted to jumpstart the conversation. It's been pretty quiet here, as you know, for a couple of weeks. And I also wanted to put some possible new information out there for the public to consider and ask the mayor and Mr. Lester why they should not be considered the greatest liabilities in the village.
Why they should not be considered the greatest liability in the village?
Correct, even more so than these firemen. There's much information out there that I believe that people should consider that question. The number one thing is recently I received a statement from the Herkimer County District Attorney, Jeffrey Carpenter. He responded to an inquiry that I had, and he stated that there was no misconduct found in the investigation, thus making his involvement unnecessary.
In the investigation of the fire, was it a deputy fire chief or was it the fire chief?
That is correct.
I read that statement. You sent me a copy of his response there, and tell me when you read back over that. And I was trying to pull that up, I couldn't find it. But
right.
I had interpreted that as him to say there was no criminal activity by the mayor or by the deputy mayor, and you said, and you disagree with that.
Yes, sir. There was 2 questions that were asked of him. The first question was what his involvement was in the fire department investigation, and he said that he was briefed by the police chief a matter of a few months ago.
Okay.
And based upon that briefing, that there was found no criminal misconduct at that time, so thus his involvement was not necessary. Now, in that same inquiry, there was a second question that I asked him concerning a complaint that I filed with the state attorney general in regards to Mr. Lester's harassment that occurred about a year ago.
The harassment against you?
Correct.
Okay. All right. And I think that might have happened here on the radio. Is that right?
There and via email, et cetera, yes.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so a quick question. On the liability point, the damage is done. I mean, going forward, they're not, I guess they could become more of a liability with your argument, but the action of I guess, taking action against this member of the fire department without a just cause.
Well, it wouldn't have to be criminal, though. It could be something that is procedural, some not following procedure, or
right.
It would not need to be criminal in order for somebody to be removed from.
That's a great
from
point.
A position.
Okay, so let me ask a different question. At what point would the public be made aware, or the member of the fire department who was
the member of the fire department claims, the attorney, at least Brindisi has claimed, that his client is not aware of what he's been quote unquote charged with.
That's what I'm saying. At what point do you believe that would have to happen? That they need to notify him or the public of what this suspension, or exactly the terminology, I don't know, but what is going on?
Well, Bill, my major point in all this, I'm not choosing sides here. The problem is we don't have information, okay? Because every time we ask something, it's personnel. But as you can see, when I reach out to other people, the more I'm glad to talk about it. The district attorney, the whole 9 yards, who was privy to the thing. And you're exactly right. By not coming out and informing the public, on any updates, such as what the statement by the district attorney, it's actually defamation of character. I mean, everybody's under the impression that these people are still, this, that, and other thing. He has the obligation as mayor to clear these people as well, not just to go on to one agenda and try to prove something. He owes this to the public.
And the mayor that you're talking about, Brian Lamica, is the mayor. Chuck Lester is the deputy mayor. Chuck is somebody that comes on this program on a fairly regular basis. We speak with him. So, what do you want as an outcome? First of all, you obviously want the mayor and the village board to come forward on at least give some definition of what was done wrong and why the change has been made at the fire department, I would assume.
Right. Though, basically, I'm concerned, as I said, as a concerned citizen. All right, what is this doing to the village of Ilion? All right, first of all, we're losing fire services of very skilled and qualified personnel. All right, these guys had over 20-something years experience, okay? For me as a citizen, to lose these people would have to be something very serious, okay, almost criminal. And we already know that there's nothing criminal here. Yes, I understand that there can be other things to remove people from office, but I, as one and many other people, feel that removal would be too much. So we need to know the answers there. The procedures are not being followed. I mean, we know this through data and facts, and through my conversations with I've talked with the civil service director, the state, the whole 9 yards, and we have a contract in place that's being violated. We have civil service laws that are in place that are being violated. We have state law. We have the whole 9 yards. I've written to many of these state agencies. I've got opines. I've shared them with people. It's been out in the public. I can share them again. This is why I say they are the greatest liabilities and not following established legal procedures and laws.
Yeah, I understand the point that you're making. I just
and does that include disclosure at meetings and when to hold what should be done in a public meeting, what should be done in private?
Correct. And that's been questioned, and there has been some opines, and according to the Commission on Open Government, Kristen O'Neill, they have been in violation in regards to this investigation and other things. This goes back right to the very beginning of the administration. So they've been violating laws and procedures at the very beginning.
What is going on with the relationship of the Little Falls? At one point, there was an agreement made with Little Falls where the city of Little Falls fire chief would be overseeing operations of the Ilion Fire Department. Does that still exist?
It does, Bill. I believe it was labeled as temporary, and I believe the 3-month period is probably the end of May, I believe. I believe they instituted that in March. I also have a problem with that, as well as many residents. We have a village charter that says that, we are to have a fire chief. That fire chief is to reside within the village of Ilion. That's another area. And whenever you have shared services, you're to have a village referendum, a public hearing. That has never occurred here as well. That's the big problem here. This mayor and deputy mayor just seem to be on an agenda, and the hell with the public. You don't agree with us, the hell with you. I mean, they basically stated that. Mr. Lester repeatedly, when he's questioned, says, "Well, move out of the village then." I mean, is that the way you to conduct yourself as an elected official representing everyone?
So, and where's the rest of the village board? You're a former village trustee. Where's the rest of the board here?
It's a good question, Bill. Good question, and that's what we're seeking as well. It seems as if it's a unanimous vote all the time. No discussion. If you check the minutes, they do not put in the minutes anything that they discuss. Just that, discuss, receive, report. They just seem to think that the way to operate government is behind closed doors. Executive session, don't tell the public anything.
When does the lawsuit get filed? I guess Brindisi is representing this member of the fire department, right?
There's been a threat of a lawsuit, or they put the village on notice, but I don't think anything has been officially filed.
I understand what you're saying. It just does, based on what you described, Dave, sounds so egregious. I can't believe a lawsuit hasn't been filed yet. I'm kind of surprised at that. Are you?
I am, and I'm very surprised that, like I said, with all this listings of not following proper procedures, I'll be quite honest with you, I think that also it appears to even be by the people, the firemen that are involved. I mean, they have a contract. Follow the contract. You have civil service. Follow civil service. I don't understand as a taxpayer why the established policies and procedures are not being followed. It puts everybody at liability here.
Is it possible? Is it possible that what? And again, we don't know what really happened. All we know is there's an investigation of something that occurred that
we don't even know what it's about.
We do not even know what it's about. There have been rumors, but we don't really know.
Well, I got the actual complaint, but it didn't say too much. I foiled that, and
what is it? What is it? What does the actual complaint say?
The actual complaint was on a sexual harassment form with the sexual crossed out, and just said harassment occurred and information was provided. It got into no detail.
Okay, so it was not sexual harassment, just harassment.
That's what we would assume. The sexual part was crossed out. It was a sexual harassment form.
Okay,
it was.
There must not have been a form for just harassment.
Well,
I guess not.
Okay, so the paperwork, it was crossed out on the paperwork. Somebody didn't. Okay, I see what you're saying. It wasn't like somebody hand wrote in, "I was sexually harassed," and then crossed it out.
The complaint was, I got harassment, but there was absolutely no details provided.
And I don't want to play favorites here. It's just a simple question. Is it possible that when the attorney is asking, tell us what was done, that it is covered under some sort of a labor law? There are certain things that are to remain private, right, about a person. Is it possible that is something that the village can't talk about for legal reasons and would be worthy? So when you see when the attorney is saying, tell us what it was, is it possible the person, the fire deputy, the fire employees really do know, but they also know that the village can't come out and give that, so they're asking for it? You following what I'm saying here?
I do, but if you look at the fire department contract, which they're supposed to follow, that trumps everything, Bill. That even trumps civil service law, the whole nine yards.
All right.
Have a negotiated contract.
All right.
Explicit steps to take, that they're to be notified, that they're to be interviewed, that the whole nine yards. None of this has ever occurred. According to these people, the firemen, they haven't been interviewed. They have no idea what it's about. That's in total violation of the contract.
All right, I'm out of time. I hate to do this to you, but you've opened the can of worms. We'll reach out to Deputy Mayor Chuck Lester and Mayor Brian Lomaka and see what they have to say. David, thank you. We appreciate your time.
I thank you very much.
Bye-bye. All right, quite interesting down there in the village of Ilion.
I just don't get it.
Hey guys, time to get in on the action for the biggest moments in basketball with Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app. Just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projections, place your entry, and win up to 100 times your money. Right now, Prize Picks will match your first deposit of up to $100. Just download the Prize Picks app and use the code GET100. That's code GET100 on Prize Picks for a first deposit match of up to $100. Prize Picks. Pick more. Pick less. It's that easy.